Hello and welcome to episode 1, the premiere of Empowering Women Through Fitness. My name is Bridget and I'm so excited to be your host for this series that is starting today. And we are going to give it a couple minutes for everyone to join because I know it takes a little bit for Facebook to notify everybody. So if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and skip to about minute 2 and then we'll get started with the actual content of today's show. So if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and skip. If you're watching or just coming on today, welcome. I'd like to find out where everybody's watching from. So if you could drop in a comment and say where you're watching from, that would be super awesome. But again, just want to say thank you for watching and joining me. It's been super exciting putting this whole show together, and I'm excited to share today with you all that I have planned. So I have a lot of exciting guests coming up. Today I'm just introducing the show, but I am so excited to share everything that I have in the works for this show. So Chris Robinson is watching from Blaine. Thank you for watching, Chris. Again, if you're just jumping on, my sister says, hey Bernadette, hope you guys are doing well in the new house. Drop a comment where you're watching from so I can go back and kind of see where everybody's joining us from today. So again, if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and skip ahead a little bit and we'll get jumping into the content for today. But again, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's joining. Hey, Christina, super excited to connect with you soon. Faye's watching. If you want to drop a comment into below and just say where you're watching from, that's awesome. Christina is watching from Arizona. That's so cool. I bet it's a little bit warmer there too. If you guys would also do me a huge favor and share this video if you know somebody who would maybe find value in watching my Empowering Women's Through Fitness show, please share it. And I just want to thank everybody for popping in. Christian is watching from Pearland before you're heading out to dance, of course. So awesome. Faye is watching from Dallas. Thanks for jumping on. Jake Rands, how are you? From Wisconsin, my old stomping ground. So happy to be here. And actually, speaking of Wisconsin, today is my 5-year anniversary for moving to Texas. So today, of all the days I'm doing my show, we moved here 5 years ago on a very, very, very cold day in Wisconsin. Jose is watching from DC. Jose, so glad you're here. It was minus 45 and with wind chills the day I moved to Texas. So in case anybody's wondering why I haven't moved back yet, I hate to be cold. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. Again, I wanna thank you all for watching. If you're watching on the replay, thanks so much for taking the time to watch my premiere show. I'm going to actually swipe away the comments so I don't get distracted, but I'm multitasking, so I'm going to pull them up on my computer and I'll just keep an eye on them as well as the time. So we'll go ahead and do that. So Empowering Women Through Fitness I founded it in 2017. So this year it'll be 2 years old. And I started it after I had just competed in Mexico and won my title. So for those of you who've been not following me for a very long time, well, the last time I competed, I did a weekly live show where I talked about everything I was going through leading up to my show. So that was my first experience doing a live show. But what I found through that and competing is kind of something people put up on a pedestal. It's not something that the everyday person aspires to do or even necessarily wants to do. So I set out a lofty goal because it was something that was on my bucket list and something that I wanted to do, and I really wanted to experience the show in Mexico City. So that was something that I did. And when I came back, I actually kind of missed doing the Facebook's lives and having that interaction with you guys and having something to talk about. But I was also going through a lot of personal challenges at the time, so it just wasn't the right time to launch anything or put out any more energy than I already had at the moment. So kind of needed some time to reset. But right after my show, I had all these women reaching out to me and asking me to still put out content for them and still be there to help them. So I had left the previous coaching company I was with and competition company that I was with, and so I decided, okay, well, this is a perfect opportunity for me to start my own. So I found it. I couldn't think of a name, but all that came to me was the phrase "empowering women through fitness," because, and I'll get into this in a little bit, but I had so many experiences in my life where I used fitness as an avenue to get through those experiences, and I came out stronger on top. So I found it, I just named the Facebook group Empowering Women Through Fitness, and I'll add the link up on the show. I forgot to do that, I think. But it's a free community for women, and within 2 days, over 200 women had joined. So I was like, okay, if the women are coming, I'm going to provide content. So that was really kind of the beginning of it. But then it also led me on this journey of providing more content that was relatable to the everyday women, because not everybody wants to be a competitor. And people started looking at me like I was unrelatable, or I was somebody who was just a fitness model that competed and didn't really go through any of the things that the normal or everyday person goes through. So I really kind of wanted to break that that opinion or that view or the perspective people had, and come to, how do I put it in, I wanted to be more relatable. So I started talking more about my experiences that got to me to where I am, because if you've followed me for a while, you've seen my posts where I say there's a lot that goes behind a pretty picture. So so let me just kind of share a little bit with you my story, and then I'll jump back into this show and all the exciting things that I have planned for it. So my experience with fitness, I was not athletic growing up at all. I was not interested in it. I never really had an interest in working out. I would try to run, but I always had athletics-induced asthma, so I just felt like it was something I couldn't do. After I got married, I moved out into the middle of Wisconsin on a dirt road, and I really had no social life and no other friends. And so I sought out this gym to work out at because I wanted that social interaction and wanted to, literally just wanted something to do. So that was my introduction to fitness. So everyone has their own way that or reasons that they get into it. And at the time, mine was just to do some exercises and have a little bit of a social interaction. So that was where it started, but I totally got addicted to it. And from that gym was introduced into fitness competitions. And I was actually pregnant with my son Christian at the time. And so I saw Lori Harder competing and all these really incredible women that were jumping on stage. And I was just like, well, that's not really something that I can ever do because it seemed so far out of reach at the time. So I went on to have my son Christian, and then moving along, I was pregnant with my second baby, and everything was going fine until one terrible day in October of 2011 when she was born, and she was stillborn. So it was, and I'm kind of speeding through this, but it was a very, very tragic time in my life. I was on a maternity leave with no baby to take care of. I had all of my friends were pregnant. So I really avoided social situations, which I'm a very social person. So to completely just shut down and just shut myself into the house was unlike me, but that was where I was at. I was very angry, very bitter, and very hopeless. And I wasn't eating, and I already have a small frame, so I was losing weight. I couldn't go running because now at this point it was in the middle of the winter, and I really knew I needed to do something for myself. Not only for me, but especially for my son that was still young and still needed his mom and needed somebody to take care of him. So I decided, of all things to do, was a fitness competition. So I went back to the gym and I said, hey, I want to do a fitness competition. And I want you guys to understand, like, I legit didn't know anything. I didn't know the difference between carbs, proteins, healthy fats. I never meal prep. I didn't do any of the nutrition aspects that I now coach people on how to do. I didn't know any of that. And I started from ground zero, just like a lot of you have. I didn't know how to work out. I didn't know how to use weights. All I ever did was the classes. So I knew whatever the classes told me to do. And so I didn't know how to work out legs. So it was a completely new and very daunting experience for me. But I was so gung-ho once I made up my mind that I'm like, I've got to do something positive for myself so that I have something to look forward to and just something to focus on. So I hired a coach and went into my first show and overcame all the obstacles. My ex-husband was like, if you want to work out, you're going to have to do it on a time that doesn't cut into family time. So I got up at 4:35, hit the gym before work, and whatever I needed to do, I made it happen because it was that important to me. And I will never forget that experience of that first show, walking across the stage for the first time and feeling what it felt like, not to just be on that stage, but to the sense of accomplishment was so great. And it really helped me to realize this drive I had inside of me, that if I set out my mind to do something, I can accomplish it. And that was like the most powerful thing. I went on to compete again that year in Chicago, and then even Las Vegas on the national level. And at the national level is when I realized, I'm like, okay, if I really want to do this, I need to step up my game. So I took some time off, then came back and competed again and won that title. And all through this process, like, I was learning a lot about myself, but one of the biggest things I gained was my self-confidence. And a lot of that was through fitness. It was feeling better about myself. It was feeling strong. It was feeling empowered to do these things that at one time looked so unachievable. So fast forward through that, I took some time off. I helped coach athletes, and somewhere in between there, I decided I wanted to move to Houston. So I made the move to Houston. And then like a whole nother world of opportunity opened up for me. So a lot of things shifted. I went through a divorce and then ended up in another relationship with a fitness coach where I got to be around that constantly. So it went from like one extreme to the other, where it was all I ever did. And that ended up being a very unhealthy relationship and ended very painfully. But from all of that, I was able to grow and just become such a different person and see things in such a different way than I used to. And so I share all that with you because I want you guys to know that I've been through a lot of different things. So I've been through, you know, losing a child. I've been through divorce. I've been through being cheated on or been in toxic relationships. And I've had all these experiences, and working out and fitness has been one of the biggest aspects. But more than that, it has been how my mindset has changed and how I've been able to work through those. So now my goal is to really help other women to have the same experience I have, because we've all have a story. We all have things that we've been through, and that is really kind of the focus of my show, how we can empower women. And so when I say empower women through fitness, I really want you to understand that it's not just fitness, it's your well-being. So that means your mental fitness, your spiritual fitness, your emotional fitness, your relationship fitness, career fitness, the list goes on. It's really about having that whole life that is centered around fitness. And a lot of it, you guys, begins with your physical fitness, because the way you feel about yourself is going to project off into all those other areas of life. So if you don't feel good about yourself, if you're not taking care of yourself first, it's very difficult to go be a mom, to be a wife, to be a boss, to be an employee, to be all these other roles that we play in our life. So, you know, physical fitness is a big part of it, but it affects every other area of our life. And so this show is really going to be centered around all those different pieces and how they all work together. So, So I'll get into some of the guests that I have. We're going to, starting next week, my first guest is Sarah May Hollinsworth, and she used to be an extreme athlete, and I won't give too much away about this, but extreme athlete, and she ended up hospitalized 2 days before a fitness competition, and in the long run ended up having to be have her legs amputated. So she's going to share her story of overcoming, and there's a whole gamut that goes along with a situation like that, and I'm not going to share on her behalf, but she's going to share. I have Christina, who was watching earlier, who's going to share about the power of breaking the pretty girl syndrome and just how we get so caught up in image and presenting ourselves in such a way that we forget to live life. And so she's going to share about her story and kind of the tragedy she went through to get to where she is now. I have a whole list here because I've been working really hard on this for the last month on getting all these guests. I have a life coach, a John Maxwell certified coach. I have a relationship coach that's going to talk to us on Valentine's Day, so I'm super excited about that. The point is, I have a lot of different aspects. I have a girl who travels the world. She quit her job and travels the world. I'm so excited to talk to her because her pictures and her stories are amazing. Who else do I have? I have Sonia Hatter, who's out in LA, and her husband run a huge entrepreneur company. I have a lot of people in the works too that I've reached out to. I have women who are going to share stories of overcoming molestation or being sexually abused or different toxic relationships in that sense. So we're really going to cover all of those aspects of our life. But I'm so excited because these are women that are just like you, just like me, and just like they're just themselves, and they're going to share their stories of overcoming these obstacles. So that's why I'm so excited, because today it's just me. I'm introducing the show, but next week, starting next week and moving on out, I have so many inspiring women that are just like you. I'm going to keep saying that are going to share their stories and their experiences. And I believe that you'll be able to relate to them and find a lot of parallels that you can be like, I've been through that, or, you know, that happened to me, or whatever the case may be. But to hear how they came through on the other side and how they are sharing and giving back and have really overcome those things. So that's what I'm most excited about. And when we're talking about that, it's not just going to be inspirational stories. We're also going to have educational stories. So I have fitness experts or other experts that are going to come on and actually give us education and teach us things, real practical tools that are going to help and be something that you can utilize in your everyday life. So a lot of exciting topics that I'm going to cover. And again, if I posted this a couple of times, but if you have somebody you'd like to nominate, I have the nomination form in the link. Also, if you're somebody who would like to apply to be on my show, and you'd like to share your story, or you have something you'd like to talk about, I have the application link in the form as well. And for those of you that don't know, I also do online fitness and nutrition coaching, and I can talk to you about that as well, but we do that offline. So there's a lot of opportunities for you guys to jump in and help me be part of this show and help me make this something greater than just us, so, or just me, or just a few people. So I really want this to be something that spreads and that is, you know, people can share. I do have guests literally when I say all around the world. I do have guests. I booked a girl in today who's from New Zealand. I have Canada. I'm working on, well, the Romania time zone doesn't work, but I have other countries that I'm working on too, from women who have amazing stories. And I'm just so excited that this all came together in God's timing, and I couldn't have done it myself if I tried. But I'm really excited. I appreciate everybody who's been supporting me, the love that you guys show me, and the encouragement really helps me to keep going and makes me excited to do what I love to do. So starting next week, let me see if there's anything else I need to go. If y'all have any questions, I will turn my comments back on. But if you have any questions for me, or if there's anybody that you'd like to nominate, please feel reach out to me. I'm seeing all the comments now from everybody from before. But if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for watching. All of you guys who joined in and jumped on, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for sharing this and for watching. I will be back here next week with my first guest at 7 p.m. So every Thursday, same spot, same bad place. And I hope that you'll join me. So if you found this valuable, or you know somebody who would find this show valuable, please feel free to share or invite them to watch today or next week. Again, thank you, and I will see you guys in a week. Thank you so much.